Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for today. This is a continuation of my guide series. We're on to Quantum right now. This is going to be primarily a DPS video. I'm going to touch on quantum controlling at the end, but you've already seen videos of that on my channel if you need to check it out for any kind of controlling tips or rotation. But there's a lot of primary focus on the DPS in this video. Now, I usually don't use words like best, OP, title, top, whatever, most OP. I usually make fun of people who put that in their video titles, but I'm fairly confident in this guide and the rotations. I've gone through all the forums and I've tested all the rotations that people have listed there and found what I believe to be the most competitive rotation. So once again, it's all going to be perspective, but I feel like there's not that many faults whatsoever in these rotations. So we'll kind of get into the quick and dirty now. Skill points, obviously, superpowered spec, your DPS critical attack chances, might and power maxed out, and then they'll put the rest into health. You put the rest into health because you're running this might artifact, which you want to have maxed out, which hit an enemy with a superpower, you and the group gets, might equal to 1.6% of your health, and obviously your other artifact is going to be Scrap of the Soul Cloak, which is for your supercharge. In terms of gear mods, your head, I'm spec for pure controlling, so that's why I'm lacking some might compared to other 240 DPS. Obviously, as well, you would have a supercharged Oblivion head mod instead of Event Horizon. Obviously, escalating might. The back is going to be accelerated Akubir wave. Chest is going to be core strength. I've done testing. I've tried to see the difference between core strength and penetrating strikes. I really don't find that much of a difference. I think penetrating strikes will be better for when the ads really out CR you. And then as your CR starts to rise above them, core strength is better. But, that's all subjective again because we don't know the defense values of any of the ads. So usually I just run core strength because it's just a base multiplier. You don't have to worry about anything else. Restorative gravity bomb, just for something because the restorative health sucks anyway, but at least it's something to run. There's the shoulders there. Obviously, those will be modded might. The head will be modded might, so that's where I'm missing. You can also wear the Starro face mask if you want. I think it's like 23 more might or 22, something like that. You lose all the other stats, but if you want to have the max might, then you could wear the Starro face with might Starro in your mod. On that, we'll skip right to the loadout. Gravity Well, Time Bomb, Lift, Cure Wave, Gravity Bomb, and Oblivion. And this is focusing on the Graviton Charge PI rather than what I see a lot of Quantum DPS using, which is the Destabilized PI. This is focusing on Graviton Charge. So basically the rotation is going to be from right to left, and basically you want to have Time Bomb on cooldown as much as possible. So we'll kind of get into that there. As you can see there, that kind of gives you like a brief kind of indication. Stop attacking. So obviously the first burst is low because the escalating might hasn't kicked in for time bombs max crit, or not crit, but max cap damage. 21, 24, 21, 24. So the thing with quantum is you're going to see fluctuations. That's just how quantum is. It's not going to be perfect every single time, but it's more of an example of it not translating well to parser damage compared to in array damage, which will show later in the clips. But we'll kind of break down the rotation here. Obviously, the Gravity Well PI. The reason why I lift after Time Bomb is because lift sets up my dots. So even though lift is single target, it's still a really hard-hitting single target power. As well as you can kind of see a better idea of what lift will do. So once the graviton PI is set up and they're graviton charged, lift will pull everything in the radius and put a dot on it. So basically you have the dot from gravity well and the dot from lift ticking at the same time, as well as whatever you're targeted on. Even if it's a boss, doesn't matter. If it's a boss, say in the Star Invasion alert surrounded by ads, you're still doing max damage on that ad itself, as well as the rest of the ads. The only power that isn't max range is a cure wave. What you want to do is standing within, what is it? No. Yeah. Standing basically within 3 tiles. So if I'm right here, that's about the range of a cure wave, which is still that's still max mid range. So if I do it here, I'm still hitting all 3 targets. Or if I'm standing probably like right here, it's not going to hit. Yeah. So, okay, drone, relax. Yeah, so basically that's still a fair amount of range. There's no range that puts you any kind of danger from splash damage in. See, this is the advantage of where Quantum lies. Quantum has no melee rotation. There's no melee powers that are any good. You could put Sonic Cry, and then that turns Quantum into a melee power set. Quantum is always going. Their greatest strength is mid to max range in all types of content. So that's why, say if you're doing like a regular, spin drift raid or something, yeah, you're going to fall behind other power sets like in melee, like gadgets, rage, that have no issues meleeing through all types of content. But when you step into elite raids, like I'm going to show you in these videos, TTB, SEC, USC, Zooey, Quantum shines above a lot of power sets. So when I see on the forums, Quantum's like, oh yeah, Quantum's great, but still electric rage, munitions, gadgets are all better. That's only because all these DPS are using the wrong rotations for Quantum. They're all using time shift and the other PIs. They're all using, you see them spamming inspirational wave or inspiral waves. They're all spamming that. The rotations are very off, and that's why they're seeing improper results. Okay, on to single target Quantum, changes slightly. I should also mention for all my rotations, I'm sitting at 26.6k might. That is still on the low end, considering that I'm purely spec for Troll in the Elite Affinities and the Head and Shoulders. A similar gear 240 DPS would have about 28k might or so. So even still on those 20 to 24k parsers, as well as my single target parsers, I am sitting at much lower might than I could have if I went pure DPS build, because I should have might A, might B. I should have a might mod there. I should have a might mod on my shoulders, and I should. I think everything else is. I get the Starro face for another like 23 might, and I think that's it. Yeah. So for the single target loadout, still the exact same setup: gravity well, time bomb, and lift to set up the dots and everything. Then I'm going to Einstein Ray, which is the single target pull, and then heat vision. Now this is. Depending on the raid. If it's a purely single target raid, like say you're doing like the first fight in Manta and SSE, or you're doing like Star last boss, anything in Pano, as long as you're not fighting ads, I would use Temporal Vortex because you're going to get more damage in the long run because it's a 50% super instead of having to build up a full Oblivion. Now, if it's going to be a mix ad, like a fight where, like, say, Zooey, where you're going to have single target and AoE, I would always keep Oblivion in 100%. I'll show you later in this video why Oblivion is probably one of the top 3 supercharges in the entire game. But if it's going to be a long, drawn-out single target fight, I would just use Temporal Vortex so that I can get in, like, 3 or 4 Temporal Vortexes instead of saving up for just 1 Oblivion. So I'm still doing some supercharged damage in the fight. But that's it. So basically, depending on the raid and depending on the situation, I'll switch out Vortex for Oblivion. But I would always much rather run Oblivion. It's just that Oblivion's not really the best just on a sole single target. So obviously the rotation is the same thing as from left to right. I stop heat vision after the second tick just for timing wise, so everything works out in the time bomb rotation. And we're out of power again. So once again, Quantum is still, it's not as power heavy as Mental, but it's certainly up there. But with the controller, you can easily maintain this rotation. Okay, drone, you can stop. You can still easily maintain this single target rotation. And as you can see, sitting at 12K, 13K, 10K, 14K, 13K, and that's all with 26K might. So obviously any kind of trinkets you take, any kind of nitro, any kind of omega, obviously that not only buffs your powers, but it also buffs the crit cap on time bomb. The pet damage, orbital strikes, all count towards time bomb as well. So the more might you have, the higher cap you're going to be hitting on time bomb. So that's why running fully buffed helps you a lot more as Quantum, because it's not just because your regular powers are hitting harder because you have higher might, but your cap is also increased on time bomb. So that's why you're doing, not like night and day more damage, but you're still doing more damage because time bomb has a higher crit. I keep saying crit cap, but it's basically like percentage capped out. So this is why you want to run time bomb more than anything else, because time bomb still gets you basically, it takes a little bit to summon, but really in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that much time at all. And maximizing time bomb, okay, drone, you can stop. Maximizing time bomb is still what you want to do as Quantum, instead of people saying, oh, time bomb sucks, I can't find a good time bomb rotation. Time bomb is still really good, it's just that you're not realizing it, because once you hit it, you're not seeing those powers. You're not seeing the damage hit. It's delayed damage. But basically, the higher might stats you have helped out, in addition to this artifact, to escalating might, to a nitro cola, to omega. All of it is going towards buffing time bomb specifically and increasing the cap, which helps because obviously in a regular rotation, you're still doing time bomb consistently, every 6 seconds. Okay, so this is just going to be the test I'm going to show you of Oblivion and how effective it is, and why 1000% you should be running Oblivion in pretty much 99% of scenarios over Temporal Vortex or any other supercharge. So I'm fully buffed right now. We'll do Trinket Supply Drop because you're going to be fully drip buff when you're dropping this anyway. So I'll show you an actual example here rather than just regular might. But Trinket Supply, lift to set up escalating might, and then popping Oblivion. And obviously, you'd be working in time bomb in this rotation, so obviously time bomb's going to be hitting the most. Right there, just that supercharge alone on 8 targets was 642,025 damage. Only a 14% crit. Okay, we're on the controlling part of the guide. This will kind of skip through spec because I've obviously done it on all my other controller videos, but same thing, always hybrid, always your crit power chances, always max out power first, then put the rest in VIT, and you're always taking hand blasters, and you're always taking solar flame. Mods for Quantum, I kind of touched over my DPS video, but anyway, replenishing adapter, that doesn't change. Supercharged Vent Horizon, obviously there, neck doesn't change, the back. You can run accelerated time bubble if you want. I don't use time bubble enough to warrant it. I only use time bubble in Zooey second boss for the tornadoes and SSE last boss for the water balls, snowballs, whatever you call them. Other than that, I don't run time bubble at all, so there's not much point in me running that mod. You can run Violent Breakout, breakout regen, whatever you want. Chest is always going to be power efficiency. Legs, just quantum tunneling restorative just because. A little health back. Parasite Parna Harness and Shrapnel Soul Cloak. In terms of my rotation, it's the exact same as all my other videos. I'm clipping all my debuffs together and maintaining 3. You'll see sometimes I just spam debuffs, obviously because they got 12-second durations. I just keep spamming them because it helps me regen my supercharge, because I can, because my power pools. I'm on a Vit Cola right now, so you'll see it buffed up a little bit to 13 Vit. So on a Vit Cola, I'm sitting at 44,371 power, 11,000 Vit, roller rotation, solar flame, all the debuffs clipped. Because I'm not mental, I gotta hang over a fraction of a second on solar flame like you just saw to be able to clip it. Mental doesn't have that issue because it's got the accelerator mod. And that's it, rinse and repeat. In terms of fully buffed, if I had an Omega running, got 1, 2, 3 debuffs with the neck procs. I'm sitting at 49,664 power and 11,444 Vit. And that's with the Cola and Omega, which is quite common in raids, which allows me just to continually spam all my debuffs, keep them on cooldown, which in turn increases my damage, obviously, because my might is still fairly high in controller stance. 23.5k might just as a controller, not even trying to get that, which allows me to continually pop my supercharges off cooldown, which you've seen other videos of me doing so. So that's it, guys. Okay, for the DPS clips, I just wanted to set this up before I start putting some music on. The 2 raids, this is going to be Zooey for all of first boss, and then I kind of like clip parts of the last boss just so it wasn't like a long ass video. And then threat below elite, same thing. I only showed the last boss, so you get to see more single target rotation. Because in Zooey I use the AoE one, so you get to see clips of that as well. So it gives you a good baseline example of what it looks like actually in a raid. I could have chose any pug raid, but then I'd see the complaints like, oh, you're against like 230 CR, 231 CR noobs or something. So I try to find an example where we're at least similar geared. You got 237 melee rage DPS, 238 gadgets DPS, 239 fully prec ice DPS, and then in the TTB there's a 233 elect DPS, either elect or celestial, I can't remember, and then everyone else is the same. So it kind of gives you a baseline example. As you saw from the beginning of the clip, the first part just on ads, I was like 200k behind the melee rage DPS, and then you'll see I show both scorecards at the end. So basically, it's there to give you a baseline comparison of, so you don't only just see sparse activity, because quantum can be inconsistent on the parsers just with how Tom Bomb is. So now you get to actually see it in a raid. You get to see the AoE rotation, how I use it, as well as tricky cooldown, stuff like that. Chasing supply drops and whatnot, and then my single target rotation in threat below. Any questions, guys? Just leave them in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. Thank you.